מעברך לבמה יבורך, זה הילד שאל המלאך. מעברך לבמה יבורך, זה הילד שאל המלאך. וברך לו חיוך שכמוהו כאור, וברך לו עיניים.
My name is YARIV and Yom Hazikaron is a day when you stop. You stop and remember everyone who that died, either in wars, between the wars. You try to think why, because it's not that obvious. Everybody, or almost everybody, lost someone somewhere along the way. So it's like a personal family memory day. It's the same because it's one family. Almost everybody lost someone. Everybody knows someone along the way, and it's a day when you stop. And if you lost someone close, then you mourn. And if not, you try to help those who lost someone close. Remind them that you're there for them and that they're not alone. They're not alone, because many times they feel like they're alone after losing someone. They have to deal with it on their own. So this day everybody comes, everybody hugs them, and try to remind them that we're all with them, we're all there. In the education systems, they have a lot of ceremonies. There's I don't know how you say that, when a siren is sound, everybody stops, just stop wherever they are, whatever they do, get out of the car, they stop working, and they just stand. They just stand silently, honoring everyone who paid the price. The price that basically allows us to keep on trying to live a normal life around here. And it's a symbol to make sure that no one will forget. No one will forget, and to remind people that we're not there yet. We still have, other than our personal lives, we still have another role here.
What is it?
That each one of us have to contribute a very, very, you can say, very important part of this life to this country. Unlike in many other places, when we're 18, we don't go to college, travel, start a job. And we have to remind people that it's not because we have to, it's because it's important. Well, it is because we have to. That's something that everyone has to be reminded here, every year, that we still have a role, because unfortunately we haven't got to the stage, to the point where we can live quietly yet. Even though most of the time it looks like everything is quiet and calm, deep inside we know what's going on the other side. We know that we can't allow ourselves to be weak. We still have to keep on being strong, because otherwise someone's waiting for that point where they think we're weak, and we can't let that happen. I lost a friend from school. He was a helicopter pilot.
What's his name?
His name was Nissan Shalev. It was one day before the end of the war. He got fighters into Lebanon, very deep into Lebanon. He landed, they all got out, and he tried to to go up again, and he was hit by a missile, an anti-tank missile, and helicopter crashed, and all the crew died. He was the pilot, and so Zarchi, another friend, was a tank commander, also got hit by an anti-tank missile and died. A good friend's brother, barely knew, also a tank commander that got hit by a missile and died. And there are a few other people that I know, not very good friend, not close, in the past. We're talking about the past Lebanon war. Fortunately enough, I didn't lose anyone from my team this war. We were lucky enough to go in and out with no casualties. So this time we were lucky, if you can call it lucky. We saw others that, not my team, but we had to pull out people that we didn't know. But then,
is there anything you can tell the American Jews about Yom Hazikaron and how we can commemorate it, or how we can help or support?
It's very hard to tell the American Jews to be part in Yom Hazikaron unless they've been here and they've seen what's going on, unless they experience what Israel is all about on their own. Because otherwise, when you're fed from the media or from propaganda, it's very hard. And I don't think it's hard for me to tell them to be part of it. They're Americans. But I think they do need to learn, they do need to know what's going on here. And they do need to know that they're part of it if they want it to be or if not. And that part of the struggle of Israel is their struggle. Because we know what's going on, what's happening around us. We know how anti-Semitism is rising up. And we know here in Israel, and it's a matter of education, people should be educated, people should learn the history and know that if they don't have someone to back them up, somewhere in their back of their mind, in their hard disk, they have to know that by keeping this place strong, this would be probably, that's the way I see it, this is for now the only thing that would keep the Jews all over the world safe. Because it's like the last roadblock to stop anti-Semitism. With this strong Israel, they know the limit. They know there's a red line that they can't cross because there will be someone to retaliate this time. And the best way to do it is to be here, to learn about it, and to be educated, that's it. I don't think they can share our grief because it's not a personal war. But they should realize that in some place it's their war as well.
Actually, we were from first grade. We were together. entered elementary school together. I know his family very, very well because his father is also a teacher. Actually, his father died about 3 years ago, and he was a teacher in one of the high schools in our town. And his mother was very close neighbor. We lived across the street from each other most of our years. And as I said, we went together to elementary school. Very, very close friends. I remember a lot of things that we did together. Obviously, when you were in elementary school, I even remember 5th grade that we did some kind of in Purim, we did some kind of activities together. We both were like clowns and in front of everybody and making fun of everything. Even in 2nd grade, I remember we were playing in Purim something like story of somebody who was selling hats, and they got into the jungle and there were a lot of monkeys around, and the monkey stole all of his hats, okay? And he did not know how to get the hats back. And then he noticed that the monkeys are doing everything that he was doing, so he took off his own hat and threw it on the floor, so all the monkeys threw it on the floor. So here we were, both of us monkeys, playing with hats in 2nd grade, and and later on, of course, we grew up further and we started dating girls from the same age group, and we were going to parties together. Practically, we did everything together.
What's his name?
His name, as you can see, it's a very, very unique name. His name is Elad. El means two, Ad, forever. Or Elad, or God forever, or forever. Okay? It's an absurd name to think about it, that his name is indicating actually that he will live to get forever, and all of a sudden you find out that he couldn't make it. And his last name is Kadmon. Kadmon is ancient, it's something old. Okay? Kedem is from far back in time. Kadmon is like prehistoric. Man is Adam Kadmon, for example. So it's Elad is something looking for the future, but his last name is looking back. And this guy, he grew up very, very unique direction that he took, also a very young age. Actually, he was very, very well advanced at that time in his spirituality. He was a very, very spiritual kind of person, very quiet yet very charismatic kind of a person. He was talking about all kind of aspects when we were just young, just 67. We just had the 1967, the 6-day war. We were 18 at the time. Okay, we were drafted 2 months after the war, but he was already talking then about the issues with the Palestinians, what will the future be, what does it mean to live under occupied territories, and all kind of things like this that nobody in those day and age even thought about. Okay? He was a very, very spiritual person. I'm on the other hand, was very, very down to earth. I was 2 feet on the earth. I was a very shy person, not very charismatic. He was very, very charismatic, although very quiet, but very, very charismatic. He had a leadership character, if you want to call it.
How did he die?
How did he die? Oh, that's a big jump forward, and that's something that it's less likely to talk about because, I did not want to go to the same unit that he went to. Actually, I was convinced by my mother to go. And I decided to go to this particular unit. It's a very, very special unit that we did a lot of activities, we would take a lot of actions, we did a lot of practice, but when we had a little bit of free time, we would go and do some pioneering jobs, even to establish a new kibbutzim, to establish new settlements and all kind of things like this. And he very much became the head of our group of pioneers. We were a group of about 90 kids that went and do all this pioneering work. And it was kind of interesting because, we were all the time together. All the time together. And it was obvious that, whenever he left the base, it was a matter of anywhere between 1 hour to 2 hours, and I would show up at home. And even when I left home, right, from the army base, 2 hours later, he would show up. So we were all the time together, all the time. We were great support to each other. He gave me spiritual support, I gave him physical support, and that's the way we live. Only once we were actually separated. And I was placed in one of the bridges across the Jordan River, called Gesher Damyam, Gesher Adam today. And he was placed in what's called Gesher Allenby, till today, the same bridge that actually tourists cross, on a daily basis. They cross from Jordan into Israel and from Israel into Jordan. And this was the only time that we were actually separated after almost 2 years in the army. We had 1 more year left to go, and we were separated. And at that particular night, I heard that 3 people of our unit were killed. And it was not even in my space. It did not even occur to me that he could be it. And but the word did not come out. We heard it at night. We heard it on the radio that 3 people from our unit, 3 soldiers from our unit were killed, and it did not even occur to me. It did not even come to my space that it could be him. And later in the morning, when the patrol came by, immediately they came to me and they asked me, immediately as the patrol just came by, they knew how close we were, and that we were actually like one person, like 2 people really becoming one because of our different in personality and the way we were supporting each other. And they came to me and it says, "Did you hear who was killed?" And still, because I didn't hear, it did not come to my space, but because they came to me and asked me, I thought about somebody completely different, because I heard that they were killed while doing some kind of activity, and I related this activity to another friend of ours, and I thought it was this other friend. And they said, no, it is Elad, that he was actually killed. I could not understand what he was doing there. I could not understand what he was doing, and it hit me very, very hard, because I felt like I did not protect him. I was not there for him when it happened, and my first reaction, of course, it's that I don't believe it. But my second reaction was really a surprising reaction, that it took them a long time to control me. I jumped on one of the machine guns, and I just started shooting across the border into Jordan like a madman. I was so angry. How can they do something like this? That's part of my body. It's part of my arms. It's half of me, and they've taken one half, and I just couldn't understand it. And I guess it was either too late, or I don't know why I couldn't go out just to go to attend the funeral. And they just wouldn't let me out. It just didn't fall in. It was not right. I didn't even think about the potential that there is a funeral. It didn't even come to my space. And only later this evening, I heard that when the funeral started, it was supposed to start in the early afternoon, and his parents would not start the funeral because I did not show up. And they kept on postponing it till it started getting dark outside. They were just waiting for me to arrive, and they couldn't understand why I'm not arriving. it just didn't work out. And the highest commander, the commander of our battalion, was there, and he didn't understand what was going on. And only later on he asked them, why are they keep on postponing? And they said that they don't believe that I will not show up, because there was no such thing that Elad would show up at home and I would not show up, or vice versa. Okay, and for them I was like the son. Okay, so at least by me showing up and be that their son is still alive. Even though they can see that his body is in a coffin, me being there meant that something is still alive. So, but they had no choice, they had to run the funeral, and eventually it was buried right here. It was not until the day after they came to me, actually the same night, that the commander came back from the funeral and he said that I have to leave in the morning. And when they told me that I have to go and be with the family, I tried to leave in the morning, and it was in the middle of the West Bank area, and there was no way, I could not get a ride. I just couldn't get a ride. And I waited for about 2 hours trying to hitchhike to get a ride, to go. And I was only with my gun, that's the only thing I had. And, I had my uniform, but my best uniform, not my fighting, not my combat uniform, but I had my regular uniform. And about 2 hours after I was waiting to get a ride, all of a sudden I see all my unit, riding the jeeps, and I stopped all of them and says, what's going on? They says, well, we spotted some terrorists that just crossed the border, and we are about to chase them, to try to track them down and to, if possible, kill them or capture them. And I said, I cannot take it. So I grabbed the last jeep. I stopped the last jeep that was just riding by. I grabbed the soldier that was sitting there. I took him off the jeep. I took all of his equipment or combat equipment, put it on me, okay, and I joined the chase after these terrorists. I says, if I cannot get to my friend's house, at least I will get this terrorist that got him. And we started the fighting with these terrorists when we spotted them, and at that particular moment, the commander of the battalion that joined us, all of a sudden he spotted me there. And he was furious. I was in the middle of combat, and he spotted me there. He was furious when he saw me there, because he gave an order to have me go. And he took me off the combat of this fighting and gave me a ride. It was not until a day later that I got to his house. It was one of the most difficult parts, because it was always when I arrived, he would arrive. The memories I have with him. And one thing that did happen after he died, because all of a sudden I felt half of me is missing, I started changing in a lot of ways. I started taking leadership roles, which I never did before, because he was doing it, so I didn't have to do it. Right? And then all of a sudden I started taking leadership roles. I started getting ahead of everybody. I started leading the group that he was leading before. Now I was leading everybody. And I developed in a completely different directions. As maybe I would have if he was still around. But if I have a choice, I would rather have him around than not having him around. Because there's so much that he gave me so much that I gained from him.
So what does Yom Hazikaron mean to you?
What is it?
Yom Hazikaron mean to you?
You know, Yom Hazikaron is a, you know, has two meanings actually. You know, either way you look at it. The one, it's for me, Yom Hazikaron has two meanings, and it's absurd because I was born in Yom Hazikaron. I was born on Yom Hazikaron on Dalet B'Iyar. Okay? I was born in the evening of Yom Hazikaron, and that's it means for me life. Yom Hazikaron is the day that we remember all the people that have been killed, that died. Okay? And amongst them, part of my body died. So on my birthday, part of my body died. He did not die on the same day as my birthday, but the memories I have, the one that I have to remember is on that particular day. Okay? And it has double meaning because of its importance. That's the day we remember all the dead, all those who died for the country. And that's what it is. He died for this country. But why did he have to die? What for? You know, he can fight for this country and stay alive. Because that's what we should do. And that part of the price that we pay, okay? Because Yom Hazikaron is for everybody, but we have you personal. People that you know, okay? It's not something just up in the air. It's people that you know, who are close to you, who are part of you. Okay? And I'm so proud that we do have a country. We do have something to celebrate for. The fact that so many people died for it, I wish it didn't happen, but it did. And we have to stay with it. Yeah, we have to stay with it, we have to live with it, because we live for them. That's the message that they left us. We have to keep this country going. This is the homeland. That's what we have. That's what I have. I don't have much more than that.